The rain came suddenly that Thursday afternoon in Seoul. Hana stood under the small awning outside Moonlight Coffee, listening to the drops hit the pavement. She folded her white cane and reached for the door handle. The little bell above the entrance rang as she stepped inside. The warm smell of coffee and fresh pastries wrapped around her like a blanket. Hana had been coming to this cafe for 2 years now, ever since she started university. She knew every sound, every corner, every step from the door to her favorite table by the window. But today something was different. "Excuse me," Hana said to the room. "Are the window tables taken?" "Yes, miss," the owner called from behind the counter. "Only the corner booth is free. Someone is sitting there already. But you could ask if they mind sharing." Hana walked carefully toward the corner, her fingers trailing along the backs of chairs. She could feel someone's presence before she reached the booth. The air felt heavier somehow, warmer. "Hello," she said. "Would you mind if I sat here?" The rain caught me by surprise. There was a long pause. Then a voice answered. It was deep, so deep that Hana felt it in her chest more than heard it with her ears. "You may sit." The voice sounded strange. The words were correct, but the way they were said felt too careful, too formal. Like someone reading from a script. Hana slid into the seat across from the stranger. She set her bag down and placed her cane against the wall. "Thank you. I'm Hana." Another pause. "I am Wraith." "Nice to meet you, Wraith. Is this your first time here?" "Yes. The coffee is really good. And the honey bread is amazing if you like sweet things." Hana heard the stranger shift in his seat. The booth creaked under significant weight. "I am unfamiliar with this establishment's offerings," Wraith said. "What would you recommend?" Hana smiled. "Well, what do you normally like?" "Hot or cold? Sweet or bitter? I do not know." It was an odd answer. Hana tilted her head. "You don't know what you like?" "The choices are overwhelming," Wraith said. His voice sounded frustrated. "There are too many options." Hana laughed softly. "Okay, how about this? I'll order for both of us. Trust me?" "Trust." Wraith repeated the word slowly, as if testing it. "Very well." When the owner came to take their order, Hana asked for 2 caramel lattes and 2 slices of honey bread. After he left, she turned back toward where she knew Wraith was sitting. "So are you new to Seoul?" she asked. "I am new to this entire region. Where are you from?" There was a very long pause this time. "Very far away. You would not know the place. Try me. I might surprise you." "I doubt that." But there was something almost amused in his voice now. "It is beyond your... It is simply very distant." Hana noticed he spoke strangely. He never used contractions like I'm or it's. Everything was spelled out fully, formally. And sometimes he paused in odd places as if translating in his head. "Are you here for work?" Hana asked, in a manner of speaking. "I am taking leave. A break from my responsibilities. What do you do?" "I am in command of many buying people. It is demanding." "Sounds stressful." "More than you can possibly imagine." Their drinks arrived. Hana heard Wraith pick up his cup, then set it down quickly. "Is something wrong?" she asked. "It is hot." "Oh, sorry. I should have warned you. Let it cool for a minute." She heard him pick up the cup again, more carefully this time. There was a sip, then a longer silence. "This is pleasant," Wraith said. He sounded genuinely surprised, right? "The owner makes the best lattes in this whole neighborhood." They sat in comfortable quiet for a while, drinking their coffee. Rain continued to drum against the window. Hana could hear other customers come and go, the bell ringing. Quiet conversations, the hiss of the espresso machine. "May I ask you something?" Wraith said finally. "Of course. How did you know to trust me? You sat at my table without hesitation. You offered to order for me, yet you do not know me." Hana considered the question. "I guess I'm just not very good at being suspicious of people. My brother says I'm too trusting. That could be dangerous." "Maybe, but I think assuming everyone is dangerous is sadder than occasionally being wrong about someone." "That is a very human perspective," Hana laughed. "Well, I am human. What other perspective would I have?" She didn't see Wraith tense across the table. She didn't notice him glance down at his hands, checking to make sure the holographic disguise was still working. "You are human," he said carefully. "Yes, of course." They talked for over an hour. Hana told him about her music studies, about the symphony she was trying to compose. Wraith listened more than he spoke. But when he did talk, he told her about places he'd seen. He described planets with 3 suns, nebulae that sang in frequencies too low for human ears, moons made entirely of crystal, You're a really good storyteller, Hana said. It sounds like science fiction. I assure you it is all quite real. Have you really traveled that much? You must be really adventurous. I would not call it adventure. It was necessary for my work. Still, it sounds amazing. I've never left Earth. Earth. The way Wraith said it made it sound like a discovery. You have never left your homeworld? Nope. Never even been off this continent, actually. Most humans haven't traveled to space yet. It's expensive and complicated. But you have dreams of it. How did you know? Your symphony. You said it is about starlight. You wish to capture something you have never seen. Hana felt her cheeks warm. You're very perceptive. It is part of my training. What kind of work did you say you do? I did not say. But his voice was not unkind. It is complicated. Military matters. Oh, that does sound complicated. The rain began to slow. Hana heard it shift from a downpour to a gentle patter. She reached for her cane. I should probably go, she said. I have a class in an hour. Of course, Wraith stood up. The booth creaked again. Hana heard his chair scrape and realized he must be quite tall. She stood too, orienting herself toward the door. Thank you for sharing your table with me. It was unexpected, but not unpleasant. Hana smiled. High praise. She started to walk away, then stopped and turned back. I come here every Thursday afternoon around this time. If you want company next week, I'll be here. Wraith was silent for a long moment. Why would you offer that? Because you seem lonely, and I'm pretty good at being a friend to lonely people. She couldn't see the way Wraith stared at her, this small human woman with her white cane and her easy smile. She couldn't see the way his holographic disguise flickered for just a second, revealing scales that shimmered like oil on water and eyes that glowed like molten gold. You noticed, he said quietly. Your voice, Hana said. It sounds like someone who hasn't talked to anyone in a very long time. I know that feeling. She waved and walked to the door, navigating the cafe perfectly without sight. The bell rang as she left. Wraith sat back down slowly. He looked at his hands, at the illusion of human skin that covered obsidian scales. He thought about the fleet he commanded, the worlds he'd conquered, the fear his name inspired across 17-star systems. And he thought about a blind woman who heard loneliness in his voice and offered friendship without asking for anything in return. He picked up his half-finished latte. It had gone cold, but he drank it anyway. Thursday. She would be here next Thursday. Wraith told himself he would not return. He told himself he was here to hide from his responsibilities, not to form attachments. He told himself that a supreme commander of the Crimson Fleet had no business sitting in cafes with innocent humans who trusted too easily. He told himself all of these things. But he knew, even then, that he would be back next Thursday. Outside, the rain stopped completely. Through the window, Sol sparkled in the emerging sunlight, and for the first time in 300 years, Wraith wondered what it might feel like to be something other than feared. Wraith told himself he was only going back to observe human behavior. It was strategic research, nothing more. That was what he told himself as Thursday approached. He arrived at Moonlight Coffee early, taking the same corner booth. His holographic disguise showed him as a tall, broad-shouldered man with dark hair. It was a good disguise, built with technology far beyond anything Earth possessed, but it was just an image. Underneath, he remained what he truly was. The bell above the door rang at exactly 3:15. Hana walked in, her white cane tapping softly against the floor. She smiled in the general direction of the counter. Hello, Mr. Kim, she called to the owner. Is my grumpy friend here yet? Wraith felt something strange in his chest. She had called him a friend. She had expected him to be here. Corner booth. The owner called back, amusement in his voice. Hana walked over and slid into the seat across from Wraith. I knew you'd come. How could you know that? Because lonely people always come back when someone offers to listen. She set her bag down. Should I order the same thing as last week? Yes, that would be acceptable. Over coffee and honey bread, they talked again. Hana told him about her week, about the difficult piece she was working on for her composition class. Wraith found himself relaxing in a way he hadn't in decades. Can I ask you something personal? Hana said, You may ask. I may not answer, she smiled. Fair enough. When did you lose touch with people? When did you become lonely? Wraith was quiet for a long time. A very long time ago. When I accepted my position of command, leadership is isolating. It doesn't have to be. In my case, it does. People fear me. They obey me, but they do not befriend me. I'm not afraid of you. You should be. Why? Hana tilted her head. Have you hurt innocent people? The question struck Wraith like a physical blow. He thought of the worlds he had conquered, the civilizations that had surrendered at the mere sight of his fleet. He thought of the orders he had given, the lives that had ended because of his decisions. I have done what was necessary, he said finally, what my position required. That's not the same as wanting to hurt people. Does the distinction matter to those who were hurt? Hana was quiet for a moment. I don't know, but I think intention matters. A soldier following orders is different from someone who enjoys causing pain. You speak of things you do not fully understand. Then help me understand. But Wraith could not without revealing what he was, what he had done, so instead he changed the subject. Tell me about your music. You said you are composing a symphony about starlight. Hana's face lit up. She spent 20 minutes describing the piece, how she wanted to capture the feeling of something beautiful that she had never seen. She talked about using different instruments to represent different types of stars, about building harmonies that suggested infinite distance. You have never seen stars, Wraith said, yet you dream of them constantly. I've been blind since I was 7, a car accident. But I remember some things from before, colors, my mother's face, and I remember stars just a little bit, like tiny diamonds on black cloth. They are more beautiful than you remember, tell me. So Wraith described stars. Not as a human would describe them, but as he had seen them across 3 centuries of space travel. He told her about blue giants that burned so hot they were almost white, about red dwarfs that glowed like embers, about binary stars that danced around each other in orbital embrace. Hana listened with her whole body, leaning forward, her face full of wonder. That's exactly what I needed. Can you describe more? They talked until the cafe began to close. The owner had to politely remind them twice that it was time to go. This became their routine. Every Thursday afternoon they met at Moonlight Coffee. Over the following weeks their conversations deepened. Wraith began to look forward to Thursdays with an intensity that worried him. He was a military commander. He had responsibilities, fleets to manage, territories to defend. Yet increasingly he found himself thinking about a blind woman and her questions and her easy acceptance. One Thursday, Hana brought a small notebook. I want to get this right, she explained. Tell me about nebulae. The biggest ones you've seen. Wraith described the singing nebula in the outer rim, a massive cloud of gas that resonated at frequencies that could be felt across entire star systems. He described the colors, the way light bent through the gas, the sense of being inside something alive and ancient. Hana's hand flew across the page in Braille notation. This is perfect. You're helping me so much. I am pleased to be useful. You're not useful. You're a friend. She paused. Unless, do you not consider me a friend? I have not had a friend in a very long time. I am uncertain of the protocols, Hana laughed. There are no protocols. We just enjoy spending time together. That's it. That's friendship. It seems insufficient. Surely there are obligations, expectations. Well, friends care about each other. They're honest with each other. They help each other when needed. She hesitated. They also usually tell each other basic things about themselves. Like their full names. Wraith tensed. Wraith is sufficient. Okay, and your job? You said military command, but you've never told me what you actually do. It is classified information. Are you a spy? No? A general? Something like that. Hana nodded slowly. You're hiding something big. I can hear it in your voice when certain topics come up. You don't have to tell me if you're not ready, but just know that I'm here when you are ready. Before Wraith could respond, a man's voice cut through the cafe. Hana. A young man in a military uniform strode toward their table. He was tall, with sharp features and the bearing of someone used to command. Taeyang, Hana's brother. Taeyang, what are you doing here? Hana asked, looking for you. You didn't answer your phone. Taeyang's eyes fixed on Wraith. And who is this? This is my friend Wraith. Wraith, this is my very overprotective older brother, Taeyang. Taeyang studied Wraith carefully. Wraith knew what the man was seeing, the holographic image of a tall, ordinary-looking human. But Taeyang's expression remained suspicious. Lieutenant Kang Taeyang, Earth Defense Force, Taeyang said. I don't recognize you. Are you stationed in Seoul? I am not military, Wraith said carefully. I am simply visiting your city. From where? Taeyang, Hana interrupted. Don't interrogate my friends. I'm just asking questions. No, you're being a protective big brother again. She turned toward where she knew Wraith was sitting. I'm sorry about this. It is natural for family to be protective. Taeyang's frown deepened. Something about the way Wraith spoke bothered him, though he couldn't identify exactly what. After some tense conversation, Taeyang left. But he looked back at Wraith twice before exiting the cafe. I apologize for him, Hana said. He means well, but he thinks everyone is a threat. Perhaps everyone is a threat. Perhaps his caution is wisdom. You sound like him now. He is right to be suspicious of strangers. You're not a stranger. Not anymore. The words hung in the air between them. Wraith felt that strange sensation in his chest again. Stronger now. It was uncomfortable. It was dangerous. It was something he had not felt in so long that he had almost forgotten its name. It was hope. As they prepared to leave, Hana reached across the table to grab her bag. Her hand brushed against Wraith's hand for just a second. Time seemed to stop. Hana's expression changed. She didn't pull away immediately. Instead, her fingers lingered, pressing slightly, exploring. Wraith froze. His hologram was perfect, but it was only light. It had no substance. The sensation of touch came from his actual hand, his actual scales, hard and warm like heated stone. Hana's brow furrowed. Your skin... Wraith pulled his hand away quickly. I must go. Wait. But he was already standing, already moving toward the door. His mind raced. She had felt him. His real self. The hologram had failed at the point of contact. How much had she felt? What did she know? Wraith, stop. Her voice made him pause at the door. Hana stood up, orienting herself toward his voice. I don't know what you are. I don't know what you're hiding. But whatever it is, you don't have to run from me. You do not understand, then help me understand, please. She took a step toward him. I know you're not human. I've known for a while. The way you talk, the things you don't know about Earth, the strange questions you ask, and now this. I don't care what you are. You're still my friend, Wraith stared at her. This small, blind human who somehow saw more clearly than anyone he had ever met. She was offering him acceptance without even knowing what she was accepting. It terrified him. I cannot, he said quietly. I am sorry. He left the cafe and did not look back. Behind him, Hana stood alone, one hand outstretched, calling his name. 3 weeks passed. Hana came to Moonlight Coffee every Thursday, but Wraith never appeared. She sat at the corner booth alone, drinking coffee that tasted like disappointment, waiting for a friend who would not return. Still no sign of him? The owner asked one afternoon. No, Hana said quietly. I think I scared him away. By being kind to him? That says more about his fears than your actions. Hana tried to focus on her music, but the symphony wouldn't come. Every time she sat at her piano, she could only think about the stars Wraith had described, the worlds he had seen. She missed him. She missed the sound of his deep voice, the careful way he chose his words, even the strange gaps in his knowledge about human things. She missed her friend. Meanwhile, across the city in an abandoned warehouse near the spaceport, Wraith prepared for departure. His ship was small by his fleet standards, barely larger than a transport vessel. But it was enough to get him off Earth and back to his command. His second-in-command, Vekris, had been sending increasingly urgent messages. The fleet needed its commander. Territory disputes were escalating. Rival factions sensed weakness in Wraith's absence. You have been on this primitive world for nearly 3 months, Vekris had said in the last transmission. The Council demands your return. If you do not come back willingly, they will send enforcers. Wraith knew this was true. He had abandoned his post for too long. It was time to return to being what he had always been. The supreme commander of the Crimson Fleet, the scourge of the Outer Rim, the weapon that made entire civilizations surrender without a fight. It was time to stop pretending he could be anything else. He was running final checks on his ship's systems when he heard voices outside the warehouse. Human voices, young, female. Are you sure this is the place? One voice asked. The energy readings don't lie. Something not from Earth has been here. That was a different voice, more confident. Though I still can't believe I'm actually doing this. My engineering professor would lose his mind. Jiwoo, you don't have to come with me. This could be dangerous. And let you face a possible alien alone? Yeah, right. Besides, if there really is an alien, I want proof. This could change everything we know about the galaxy. Wraith recognized the first voice. Hana. He moved quickly, deactivating his holographic disguise and sealing the ship's boarding ramp. But before he could power up for departure, the warehouse door opened. 2 young women entered. One was Hana, her white cane tapping carefully across the concrete floor. The other was shorter, with glasses and an expression of extreme nervousness. She held some kind of scanning device. The readings are going crazy, Jiwoo whispered. There's definitely something here. Something big. Hana stopped walking. She tilted her head, listening. Wraith, are you here? For a long moment, Wraith considered staying silent, waiting for them to leave. But Hana's expression stopped him. She looked tired, sad, determined. You should not be here, he said. His real voice was different from the one Hana knew, deeper, with a resonance that came from a chest cavity much larger than a human's. It made the air vibrate. Jiwoo jumped, dropping her scanner. Holy. Hana, there really is something here. I know. Hana took a step forward. Wraith, I need to understand. Why did you run? What are you so afraid of? I am not afraid. Yes, you are. I can hear it in your voice. You're terrified. I am terrified of what you will think when you learn the truth. Then tell me the truth. Let me decide. Jiwoo had retrieved her scanner and was staring at a point behind Hana. Hana? There's something really big behind you. Like, really big? And it's not human-shaped. Wraith stood in the shadows near his ship. Without the holographic disguise, his true form was visible. Massive, draconic, covered in scales that shimmered like black oil in rainbow colors. His wings were folded against his back, but even folded, they spanned 20 feet. His eyes glowed gold, bright in the warehouse darkness. He was magnificent. He was terrifying, Hana, Jiwoo whispered. We should go now. But Hana didn't move. Is that your real form? Yes, can I come closer? What? No. Jiwoo grabbed Hana's arm. Are you crazy? Let me go, Jiwoo. I need to do this. You don't even know what it is. He's my friend. That's all I need to know. Hana pulled free and walked forward, her cane sweeping the ground ahead of her. Wraith watched her approach, frozen. Every instinct told him to stop her, to make her leave, to protect her from the monster he was. But he did nothing. Hana reached him and stopped. She was so small compared to him. The top of her head barely reached the middle of his chest. She reached out one hand slowly, giving him time to move away. He didn't move. Her hand touched his chest, pressed against obsidian scales. She gasped softly, then began exploring. Her fingers traced the scales, feeling their edges, their texture. She reached up, finding where his neck met his chest. Wraith bent his head down and she touched his face, running her hands over the contours of something utterly alien. You're beautiful, she whispered. The words broke something inside him. Wraith felt his carefully constructed walls crumble. For 300 years he had been called many things. Monster, weapon, destroyer, scourge. Never beautiful. You do not even know what I am, he said. What I have done. Then tell me. So he told her everything. About the Drethus species. Warrior dragons who had conquered their way across the galaxy. About becoming the supreme commander of the Crimson Fleet at age 50. Young for his kind. About the 300 years that followed. Leading military campaigns. Conquering star systems. Building an empire through fear and force. He told her about the worlds that had surrendered without a fight because his reputation preceded him. He told her about the ones that hadn't surrendered and what had happened to them. He told her about the title he had earned, the Scourge of the Outer Rim. Jiwoo listened with growing horror. Hana listened with her hand still touching Wraith's face, feeling the vibrations of his voice through his scales. 17 star systems, Wraith said. Hundreds of worlds. Trillions of beings who live in fear of my return. I am a warlord, Hana, a conqueror, a weapon that my people and the Galactic Council use when they need something destroyed or subdued. But you came to Earth, Hana said softly. Why? Because I am tired. Tired of war, tired of fear, tired of being nothing but a weapon. I came here because humans have a reputation in the galaxy. You defended your world against 3 invasion attempts, from species more advanced than you. You won through stubbornness and creativity. And afterward you offered peace. You sheltered refugees from the same species that tried to destroy you. The galaxy does not understand humans. You are weak by galactic standards, but you keep doing impossible things. So you came here hoping to find, what, peace? I came here to hide from what I am. And then I met you. And you made me hope that perhaps I could be something different. That was foolish, and why was it foolish? Because I cannot change what I am. I cannot undo what I have done. I am the scourge of the outer rim. That is my identity, my purpose, my fate. Hana's hands moved from his face to his neck, then to his chest, right over where a human heart would be. She could feel the powerful thrum of his double-hearted circulatory system. Do you want to keep being the scourge? She asked. The question hit him like a weapon blast. No one had ever asked him that. No one had ever suggested he had a choice. Wraith stopped. Started again. I do not know what else I could be. How about starting with being Wraith? My friend who likes caramel lattes and listens to me talk about music? That is not enough. I have responsibilities, a fleet, soldiers who depend on me. Being a friend doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities. It just means being more than just a weapon. Before Wraith could respond, a sharp alarm pierced the air. All three of them turned toward the warehouse entrance. Bright lights flooded through the windows. Ships were landing outside, lots of them. Jiwoo checked her scanner and went pale. We've got company. Big company. Military-grade ships. Wraith's expression hardened. The Council. They have found me. The warehouse door exploded inward. Through the smoke and debris, figures emerged. Some were humanoid, others were clearly alien. All wore the silver armor of Galactic Council enforcers. The leader stepped forward, a tall being made of crystalline structures that refracted light in dizzying patterns. When it spoke, its voice came from a translator. Device. Supreme Commander Wraith of the Crimson. Fleet. You are hereby summoned to appear before the Council of Five. You have 48 hours to return to your command or face court-martial for dereliction of duty. Behind the enforcers, another figure appeared. Vecrus, Wraith second in command. He was reptilian, smaller than Wraith but still imposing, covered in green scales. Commander, Vecrus said, forgive the intrusion, but the fleet needs you. We are under attack. Wraith's expression shifted. The rival faction? Yes, without your leadership we are losing ground. 70 ships destroyed, thousands dead. Vecrus glanced at Hana and Jiwoo. Whatever you have been doing here, it must end. Your soldiers are dying. The weight of command crashed back onto Wraith's shoulders. He had been hiding, playing at being someone else while his fleet bled. The warehouse became very crowded very quickly. More Earth Defense Force soldiers arrived, alerted by the Galactic Council ships landing near the spaceport. Among them was Taeyang, who immediately moved to shield Hana from Wraith. Get away from my sister, he said, raising his weapon. Taeyang, no. Hana stepped between them. He's not going to hurt me. Hana, that thing is a known war criminal. I've seen the intelligence reports. He's the scourge of the outer rim. He's my friend. He's a monster. The word hung in the air. Wraith said nothing, but his wings shifted slightly, an unconscious defensive gesture, because Taeyang was right. That was what he was. What he had always been. The crystalline council enforcer spoke again. All humans must leave this area immediately. This is Galactic Council business. This is Earth, Taeyang said sharply. That makes it our business too. You are not authorized. We are on our own planet. We're authorized. The standoff intensified. Council enforcers on one side, Earth Defense Force soldiers on the other, with Wraith, Hana, and Jiwoo caught in the middle. Then another ship landed outside. This one was larger, more official. When its door opened, an older man in an admiral's uniform stepped out. He had the same sharp features as Taeyang, but aged by time and authority. Admiral Kang, Taeyang said, snapping to attention. Then softer. Father? Admiral Soren walked into the warehouse, his expression unreadable. His eyes swept the scene. His children, the council enforcers, and the massive dragon-like creature that was clearly the center of attention. Everyone lower your weapons, he commanded. Now, slowly the Earth soldiers complied. The council enforcers did not lower their weapons, but they also did not fire. Soren approached Wraith directly, showing no fear despite the size difference. Supreme Commander Wraith, your reputation precedes you. As does yours, Admiral Kang, the hero of the Third Invasion. You know of me? Every military commander in the galaxy knows of the human who defeated the Cathari invasion. Fleet with 17 ships and a strategy, so unpredictable it is still. Studied in war academies. Soren smiled slightly. Desperation makes for creative tactics. He glanced at Hana. I understand you've been spending time with my daughter. I have. She has been kind. Hana is kind to everyone. It's both her greatest strength and what makes me worry about her. Soren turned to the council enforcer. What is the council's business here? The crystalline being explained the situation. Wraith's absence from his command. The rival faction's attack on the Crimson Fleet. The council's ultimatum. Wraith had 48 hours to decide. Return to his command and lead the defense or be declared rogue and hunted. And if he refuses both options, Soren asked, then he will be eliminated, and any who harbor him will face severe sanctions. Soren nodded slowly. I see. And these sanctions would affect Earth? Affirmative. Your world is still probationary in the galactic community. Harboring a fugitive military commander would result in trade restrictions, technology embargoes, and possible expulsion from the council. Taeyang moved closer to his father. We can't let them threaten Earth because of him. But Hana spoke up. Father, please. There has to be another way. Soren looked at his daughter, then at Wraith. Walk with me, Commander. Let's discuss this away from all these weapons. They moved to a quieter corner of the warehouse. Taeyang tried to follow, but Soren waved him back. Only Hana came with them, her hand on her father's arm for guidance. My daughter believes you are not the monster your reputation suggests, Soren said. I trust her judgment more than any intelligence report. But I need to understand. What are your intentions? I do not know, Wraith admitted. I came to Earth seeking solitude. I found unexpected friendship. Now my fleet is dying in my absence, and I am being forced to choose between returning to what I was or destroying everything I have begun to hope for. What do you hope for? To be something other than a weapon. Soren was quiet for a moment. I understand that feeling. After the war, I struggled to be more than a soldier. To be a father, a leader in peacetime, a person. It's not easy. You succeeded, some days. Other days, I still feel like I'm just pretending. Soren glanced at the council enforcers across the warehouse. Here's what I can offer. Earth will provide you protection for the 48-hour deliberation period. We can't promise anything beyond that. If the council decides to act, we're not strong enough to stop them. But you'll have 2 days to decide your path without interference. Why would you do this? Your son is correct. I am a risk to Earth. Because anyone who makes my daughter believe in them deserves a chance to prove they're worth it. Soren smiled. And because humans are known for making foolish, compassionate decisions that somehow work out. The next 2 days were intense. Wraith was given temporary quarters in a secure facility. The Galactic Council maintained a perimeter but did not interfere, respecting Earth's sovereign territory rights, at least for now. Hana visited every day, often bringing Jiwoo with her. The two young women had become unlikely partners in this strange situation. Jiwoo's initial fear had transformed into scientific curiosity, while Hana remained focused on simply being Wraith's friend. Tell me about your fleet, Hana said during one visit. The people who serve under you. They are warriors. Drethus mostly, but also other species who have sworn loyalty to the Crimson Banner. Do they serve you out of fear? Wraith considered this. Initially, yes. But over time it became something else. Respect, perhaps. Trust in my tactical abilities. Many have served under my command for decades. They are not just soldiers. They're your responsibility, Hana finished. Like family. I had not thought of it that way. That's why you're struggling with this decision. You want to change, but you can't abandon the people who depend on you. The situation seems impossible. Maybe there's a third option, something between going back to being the scourge or abandoning everything. What option? Go back to your fleet, but go back different. Be the commander they need, but also be the person you want to become. That evening, Hana took Wraith to her university's music hall. The building was empty at night, and she had special access for practice. She led him to the grand piano on stage. I want to play something for you, she said. She sat at the piano and began to play. It was the symphony she had been working on, the one about starlight. But it had changed. The piece was more complex now, richer, filled with the descriptions Wraith had given her. There were movements that captured the song of nebulae, the dance of binary stars, the patient burn of red dwarfs. It was beautiful. It was Hana's vision transformed by Wraith's experience. It was what they had created together even without meaning to. When she finished, Hana turned toward where she knew Wraith stood. You helped me create this. You gave me the stars even though I can't see them. That's who you really are, Wraith, not a destroyer, a giver of stars. Wraith felt something crack inside him, the last of his old certainties crumbling. The next morning, Vekris requested a private meeting. He brought tactical displays showing the fleet's situation. It was worse than Wraith had known. We are losing, Vekris said bluntly. The rival faction has better intelligence than we expected. They know our strategies, our standard formations. They are prepared for everything the Scourge of the Outer Rim would do. Then perhaps the Scourge is not what they need. Vekris looked confused. Commander? Prepare the fleet for my return. But we will not engage in traditional warfare. I have a different plan. On the final day of the 48 hours, the Council of Five appeared via holographic conference. They filled the center of the secure facility's main chamber. 5 representatives of the galaxy's major powers. A crystalline intelligence, an insectoid hive mind, a gaseous entity contained in a suit, an amphibious diplomat, and a reptilian warlord. They addressed Wraith formally. Supreme Commander, your time is expired. What is your decision? I will return to my fleet, Wraith said. Hana, standing beside him, felt her heart sink. However, Wraith continued, I will not return as the same commander who left. I will attempt a diplomatic resolution to this conflict before resorting to force. The reptilian warlord laughed. Diplomacy? The Scourge of the Outer Rim wants to negotiate? This is weakness and perhaps it is evolution. I believe there is a third path between conquest and surrender. And if your diplomacy fails, then I will defend my fleet with all necessary force. But I will try peace first. The council members conferred among themselves. Finally, the crystalline intelligence spoke. This is acceptable. You have permission to attempt your diplomatic solution. But be warned. If you fail, if this conflict spreads, the consequences will be severe. After the council disconnected, Hana turned to Wraith. You're really going back. I must. They are my responsibility. Will I see you again? Wraith bent his head down, bringing his face close to hers. If I survive this, if I succeed in changing what I am, would you consider being my advisor? Humans have a gift for seeing solutions that others miss. I need that perspective. Are you asking me to go to space? I am asking you to help me become something better than what I was. Hana reached up and touched his face again, tracing the familiar scales. Yes, I'll help you. But promise me something. What? Promise you'll remember that you're not just a weapon. You're Wraith. My friend who likes caramel lattes and listens to stories about Simi. Wraith's ship broke through Earth's atmosphere 3 hours later. Behind him, in a smaller transport vessel, came Hana, Jiwoo, and a small delegation from Earth's diplomatic corps. Admiral Soren had insisted his daughter not travel alone into a war zone. No matter how much he trusted Wraith, Taeyang had wanted to come too. But someone had to stay and manage Earth's side of this unprecedented situation. He made Wraith promise in very explicit military terms to protect his sister. The journey to the Crimson Fleet took 2 days of faster-than-light travel. During that time, Hana and Wraith talked constantly over the communication link between their ships. He described what she couldn't see, the strange colors of hyperspace, the way stars stretched into lines when traveling at impossible speeds, the vast emptiness between solar systems. I'm nervous, Hana admitted on the second day. You are entering a war zone. Nervousness is appropriate. That's not why I'm nervous. I'm nervous about meeting your people. What if they don't accept me? What if I can't help? You have already helped. You have given me something I did not have before. What's that? Hope that change is possible. When they finally arrived at the fleet's coordinates, Jiwoo let out a sound that was half gasp, half whimper. Hana, I wish you could see this. Describe it for me. There are hundreds of ships. No, thousands. They're all different sizes, from small fighters to massive battleships. They're dark red, almost black with lights that look like glowing embers. And they're all arranged in formation like a dance frozen in space. It's terrifying and beautiful at the same time. The Crimson Fleet, Wraith's command, a force that had conquered 17 star systems. They docked with the flagship, a massive vessel called the Eternal Fire. The docking bay was large enough to hold 50 ships. When Wraith's ship landed, hundreds of soldiers had gathered to greet their returning commander. Hana heard their reaction when Wraith emerged in his true form. It was a sound of relief, of respect, of welcome. These were warriors who had served under him for years, some for decades. They had missed him. But that sound changed when Hana stepped out of her transport ship. Silence fell. Complete shocked silence. Wraith moved to stand beside Hana, his massive form dwarfing her completely. "This is Hana. She is my advisor and my friend. She is under my direct protection. Anyone who harms her answers to me personally." The soldiers parted as Wraith led Hana through the flagship. She could feel thousands of eyes on her, could hear whispers in languages she didn't understand. Her hand was on Wraith's arm, his scales warm under her fingers, and she walked with her head high despite her fear. Vekris met them at the command center. "Commander, welcome back." He studied Hana with unconcealed suspicion. "This is the human?" "This is Hana. She will observe and provide counsel." "She is blind. She sees more clearly than most." The command center was enormous, filled with holographic displays and tactical stations. Wraith took his position at the central platform, and Hana stood beside him, listening to the organized chaos of a military operation. "Status report," Wraith commanded. Vekris brought up tactical displays. The situation was bad. The rival faction, led by a Drethys warlord named Keth, had superior numbers and had been hitting the Crimson Fleet supply lines. Morale was low. Losses were mounting. "What would the old you do?" Hana asked quietly. "Overwhelming assault. Strike at their command ship, kill their leader, scatter their forces through fear. And the new you? I do not know yet. That is what we must discover." For 3 days, Wraith studied the situation. He spoke with his officers, reviewed intelligence reports, and analyzed every aspect of the conflict. Hana listened to everything, her presence a constant reminder of the promise he had made. During that time, she began to understand the Crimson Fleet. These were not mindless killers. They were soldiers, yes, warriors bred for combat, but they were also people with families, with hopes, with pride in their service. They believed in what they fought for, even if Wraith was beginning to question it. Jiwoo, meanwhile, had become an unexpected asset. Her engineering knowledge and fresh perspective caught the attention of several fleet technicians. She was soon helping them optimize their systems, bringing human innovation to alien technology. On the 4th day, Hana asked to speak with some of the soldiers privately. Wraith was hesitant, but she insisted. "I need to understand them," she said. "I need to know what they need from you." So she sat in the mess hall and soldiers came to talk to her. At first they were cautious, unsure what to make of this tiny blind human. But Hana had a gift for making people feel heard. She listened to their stories, their fears, their hopes. One older Drethys warrior, scarred from 100 battles, told her, "I have served the commander for 40 years. He is the greatest tactical mind in the galaxy. But he has changed. Something is different. Is that bad?" Hana asked. "I do not know. Change in a commander can be dangerous, but there is also something lighter about him now, less burdened. I have never seen him smile before he came back from Earth." That night, Hana found Wraith on the observation deck, staring out at the stars. "I have been analyzing this conflict," he said, "and I believe I understand it now. Tell me, Keth and his faction are not attacking us for territory or power. They are attacking because they are desperate. Their home system's star is dying. They need resources to evacuate their population, to find new worlds. But the Galactic Council has denied them aid, calling them aggressors, troublemakers. So they're attacking you because you have resources? Yes, they are trying to take by force what they could not gain through legal channels. That's sad." Wraith looked at her. "Sad? They have killed thousands of my soldiers. And they're dying too. Everyone is dying, and for what? Because they couldn't talk to each other? Wars are rarely started because people talk, Hana. Then maybe it's time someone started talking." The next morning, Wraith called a full senior staff meeting. His officers filled the command center, and Hana stood at his side. The holographic display showed the enemy fleet's positions. "I am going to propose something unprecedented," Wraith said. "I am going to offer Keth a negotiation." The room erupted. Officers shouted objections. Vekris looked like he had been struck. The very idea of the Scourge of the Outer Rim negotiating was absurd. "This is weakness," one officer roared. "They will see it as surrender." Or they will see it as strength, Wraith countered. It takes no courage to do what is expected. It takes courage to try something new. He turned to the holographic display. Hana has helped me see something I missed. Keth is not attacking us for conquest. He is attacking out of desperation. His people are dying. If we can address that desperation, we can end this conflict without further bloodshed. And if he refuses to negotiate? Fekris asked. Then we will defend ourselves. But I will not miss the chance for peace because I was too afraid to appear weak. The room fell silent. Finally, one of the older officers stood. I have served under your command for 60 years, Supreme Commander. I have seen you win impossible battles through tactical genius. If you believe this is the path to victory, I will trust you. Others slowly nodded agreement. Wraith's reputation, earned through centuries of proven leadership, carried weight. Wraith sent the message himself, broadcasting directly to Keth's command ship. This is Supreme Commander Wraith of the Crimson Fleet. I propose a meeting, neutral space, to discuss terms. Your people need not die for resources I am willing to negotiate. The response came 3 hours later. Keth agreed to meet. The negotiation took place on a neutral station with Galactic Council observers present. Wraith brought only a small guard, and Hana. Keth arrived with his own officers, all looking war-weary and suspicious. Keth was older than Wraith, his scales faded and scarred. When he saw Hana, his eyes widened slightly. You bring a blind human to a military negotiation? She sees what I miss, Wraith said simply. The negotiation was tense at first. Keth demanded resources. Wraith demanded an end to attacks. They argued, threatened, postured, then Hana spoke. Excuse me, she said quietly. Can I ask a question? Both warlords stopped and looked at her. Commander Keth, how many people are in your home system? 12 billion, Keth said. Why? And how long do you have before the star fails completely? 8 years. Perhaps 9. Commander Wraith, your fleet controls mining operations in 14 systems, correct? 16 systems. And those operations produce more resources than your fleet can use? We sell the surplus to fund operations. Hana turned toward Keth. What if instead of fighting over resources, you just asked to buy them? Or better, what if you offered something in exchange? Both warlords stared at her. Your faction has advanced terraforming technology, Hana continued. The Crimson Fleet has mining operations but lacks the expertise to make new worlds habitable. You need resources and new worlds. Commander Wraith needs planets developed for future colonization. Why not trade? The silence stretched. Then Keth began to laugh. It was a bitter sound at first, then genuine. A human child sees what we have missed for months of warfare, he said. A simple trade. Not so simple, Wraith said, but possible. If you are willing to negotiate in good faith. And if I agree, will the Council accept this arrangement? The Council observers had been silent until now. The crystalline intelligence spoke through its translator. The Council cares about